Natasha Jonas, I can see you're in a sunny setting. How are you? You must be enjoying life.
Yeah, it's a bit different to Liverpool, but it's warm.
Where are you at the minute?
Barcelona with my little girl. She's with friends at the minute.
Ah, nice, nice. So, what's the latest with yourself then? Is there any news on who your next opponent may be, or are you just sort of taking your time to reset and recover?
I would have loved to have been back in the ring straight away, but sometimes it just isn't the case. Um, you know, the rematch is I think the thing that everybody wanted. We just can't seem to get it over the line in any which form. So I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens next, but I know who I want next. And we'll see if we can get that done.
So obviously we know that rematch for Mikaela Mayer was rumored to be on the Riatpur Billam Smith undercard. Is that who you want next, the Mikaela Mayer rematch?
Yeah, I think to be honest, for both of us, for whatever reason, it doesn't look like it'll be getting done now. I think she put up a tweet recently saying it's not us, and it definitely isn't us. But to try and work it out between the promoters and the platforms it should be easy. It seems like it should be easy. The fighters agree, but that's not always the case. And where they want it on and when it's going to be on is just proven to be difficult.
So in terms of next opponents, then you say obviously it's looking like Mikaela Mayer fight's not going to happen, which is a shame because I think the boxing public would have loved to have seen that. Is there any indication? Obviously, you've got Lauren Price, Sandy Ryan. Is there any indication of a name, or is it just you're as much in the unknown as us?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for myself. There's rumours of a date, but they haven't been confirmed yet. But dates have been coming and going
Yeah.
over the last few months, which is a little bit frustrating. Well, all I can do is wait and yeah, fingers crossed that I can make something happen.
Obviously, Lauren Price beat Jessica McCaskill. I know you wanted that fight with Jessica McCaskill, would have given you a chance to obtain more belts to WBA. So how did you see that fight, Lauren Price and McCaskill? Obviously, Lauren Price came out victorious. Did you want to fight the winner of that?
I think it makes sense. I think there's probably promotional wise, and it's one of them fights that doesn't have any difficulty in making it. It seems the easiest fight to make. Um, and yeah, it was frustrating that was a fight that kind of sorted out for myself, and it was given to somebody else. Um, but it is what it is. I thought Lauren boxed really well that night. I thought she was very dominant. Um, and yeah, I think a fight with Lauren in the future is probably something that makes sense for everybody. For me personally, I've never made no secret of that. I'd love to rematch with Katie. Obviously, she's waiting for a fight with Serrano, who won at the weekend. And depending on that result, it might mean, waiting again. If Serrano wins, that means that they potentially could have a third fight. And do they both still carry on after that? I don't know. So there's, Serrano's hinted that she wouldn't, Katie's hinted that she wouldn't. So it's tough waiting around for a fight that you want and then potentially not happening anyway.
I think everyone would love to see that Katie Taylor rematch. Obviously, you fought her at the Olympics in 2012 as well. If she comes through that fight with Serrano, I know you're both sort of at that point in your career where you, like you said, you're unsure when the last fight is. How realistic do you think it would be to get that Katie Taylor rematch on? And surely that would be the perfect way for yourself to sign out.
Yeah, I think I don't know what her standing is with Matchroom, whether she's had the last fight or whether she's still with them. I don't know what that looks like. But definitely, I think it's a fight that deserves fans. We had our first professional fight behind closed doors. I think our Olympic fight alone shows how well received that fight was. So yeah, it's a fight. Just once I'd like to get the win, and it's a win that I believe I've always been just a little bit out of each of, and experience and whatever probably has won in a fight, especially in the last one. But it's a fight I believe I can win, so that's the fight that I want, and you can bow out gracefully after that, regardless of results.
Just sticking with the Olympics, she was obviously the first ever British female boxer to qualify. How important, Tash? Obviously, this summer we've got the Olympics live on talkSPORT. How important was the Olympics to your career?
I think it's huge. I think for every amateur athlete, that's the biggest accolade that you can get. It's the one everyone aspires to get to and wants to be at. The fact that it was a home Olympics for us was brilliant. It was the first in the big international tournaments or major tournament that we'd ever had at home, and just to go out and have people cheering for you instead of booing was great. But then it also set you in good stead for that opportunity to turn pro. Now you're seeing females have got that opportunity to turn professional, and I think if you've got that Olympic title and Olympic name behind you, it just sets you a little bit ahead of the rest of the field. So, you know, people who don't get there are probably having 2 or 3 fights before they've even got the name that you have. So it's huge for both you as a performing athlete, but then business sense if you want to make that jump into pros.
Obviously, we just going back to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, they meet in November. They've met before. How do you see that fight going, Tash?
Oh, I thought the first fight was like as close as close as it. Sorry, some little kids just come next to me. I don't know who she is. I think it was as close as can be. And it's tough to choose. It's a genuine 50-50 fight, this is why, it is such a great fight, because people don't know who's going to win. It's not one of them that you see on the betting odds, and it's wide. It's a fight that literally can go any way. I favoured Serrano just that little bit in the first, because I just thought that she was everything that Katie hates. She hates southpaws. She hates this kid's coming by me. She hates southpaws. She hates.
Mais non, elle parle.
Tash, she's loved everywhere, Tash. Barcelona,
Yeah.
Liverpool,
I
London.
know. Normally I'm anti-scared of kids, but obviously not today.
Yeah, no, that's sweet, man. But yeah, so the first fight you felt was close.
Yeah, I thought Serrano's everything that is like Katie's bogey. She hates like people that come forward. She hates southpaws. I think with the Pursuit fight, I thought when Pursuit went at it and kept on putting the pressure on, that's when, we saw Katie having less success. I think with southpaws before and throughout the amateurs, the people that she struggled with your Gulsum Tartars, even though she's won with your Sophia Ochagavas, they're the people that she struggled with and had good fights with. So Serrano's all that and more. But then, and then she's the only person I've seen within that fight really, really hurt Katie, where she was struggling. Like another 30 seconds that we could have seen a different result. But then on the other hand, there isn't a style, there isn't anything that a style that Katie hasn't come across, and she's perfected the art of a 2-minute round, and that's probably why she will never go to a 3 or agree to a 3. So I just think it's a great fight, and the best woman will win.
You led me onto it there, Tash.
I know that's what you thought. You thought I was going to make a decision, and I didn't.
I want to get your thoughts on that. You said if there's 30 more seconds, do you believe then that that's the evolution of women's boxing, that having those 3-minute rounds, maybe you have less rounds, but do you think 3-minute rounds will make a significant difference?
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's for the wrong reasons. A lot of women, at least that I've come into contact with, actually do train 3-minute rounds, but just change it to 2 when they've got a fight date or closer to the time of the fight. But then I also, for an athlete, it's hard because everyone's got conflicting information. The amateur says one thing, the WB says another, an independent doctor says, and we don't know who to believe because there's not one independent study that says, right, this would be best. So it's hard to gauge which is actually best. But I think for value and entertainment wise, the reason that women's boxing right now is so exciting is because of the shorter rounds.
I like that. Yeah, I agree. I agree, to be honest. Like you said, the women's boxing is getting a lot of attention. Serrano and Taylor will be on the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson undercard. Do you think, the growth of women's boxing and it being the sort of co-main card with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shows the growth of women's boxing.
I think when Jake Paul first came on the scene, I was like, hate's a strong word, but I was like, disliked him. I thought, you're a YouTuber, you think you're a boxer, you think you're this, you think you're that. Then I actually see the thing and the work he's done and the promotion of Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano, a couple of fights ago, wasn't getting paid that much money. And for the titles and accolades and whatever, and for the length of time she's been in women's boxing, she was very undervalued. Now you see, she's getting paid £1 million a fight or $1 million a fight. That's a long way, even for her in her boxing lifetime. And I think, he's shown that there is a way to make money for females. And for as short as he's been in the game, he's actually showing other promoters that have been well-established promoters that it's possible if they do their job properly.
What do you make of that fight, Tash? Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Obviously, Jake just beat Mike Perry over the weekend. Do you think it's dangerous for Mike Tyson?
Yeah, I think it is what it is, and you'd have to take it what it's for. Is Jake Paul a boxer? No. Is he a form of entertainment that people like to watch? Yes. And you take that value. He keeps on getting retired, older athletes and people who haven't boxed into the ring, and it's not a great look for Mike more than Jake, if I'm honest, from my personal opinion.
For yourself, Tash, I think a lot of boxers, a lot of athletes struggle with the thought of stopping their day-to-day routine. I know you manage a few boxers. Have you got your eyes set on what happens after boxing? Have you got an eye on what you want to do with your day-to-day routine?
Yeah, you've got to explore and take your opportunities when they come, and that's all I've ever done in my life. And some have worked out and been great. Some of them haven't. But at least now I can sit here and say that I did it. Regardless of the result. And I think that's something that, my little mate's back. That's something that I'll keep doing. She's pulling my arm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you've always got your eye on the future.
Always, always. I think, boxing career is so short and your life as an athlete is so short that you have to keep expanding and keep developing and growing, which you do as an athlete anyway. How I fight and what I do now is nothing to like when I started, because I've grown and I've developed, and I think that my IQ is better, but that's the same with life. You'll keep growing and developing. The opportunities that come, you'll flourish.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think going into sort of this weekend, then Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora, many people have called for Chisora to retire. He's got another fight, as I mentioned, live on talkSPORT with Joe Joyce. What do you make of that fight, Joyce v Chisora? Who do you pick to win?
I am gonna pick Joe Joyce. He wasn't great out against Cash Ali, if I'm honest. But I think we'll see a better Joe. He was quite heavy as well. I think it's the heaviest he's been as a pro, which can add to that. But I think Joe needs, fights that motivate him. And I just don't think he was motivated by Cash Ali. It was a comeback fight after a big loss. So yeah, he wanted to get back into the ring. But with Derek, I understand why he keeps taking these opportunities. Like you've just said, you've got to take them. If they're available, just take them, and whatever happens, happens. But, he's that bridger person between the European, British standard across the world. And that's why he still will always get opportunities, because these kids, or the young ones, I should say, not kids, that think, okay, I'm better than British, I'm better than that. Let's try myself against Derek. And if I beat Derek, then I know I'm on that, like, I'm that world, kind of on the brink of world. But if you don't, then that you've reached your limit. And I think that's why you'll always get opportunities, because he is that the gatekeeper kind of thing.
So just to wrap up then, Tash, if I could say to you, let's say we spoke in a year, what does the next 12 months look like for Tash Jonas?
It probably consists of 2 fights and a goodbye to professional boxing, on the sense of me competing. That's what I'd like to think, but then we'll see.